Good morning, and welcome back to the show. It is Thursday, March 7th. I'm so glad you guys are here. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to let this thing generate, get people on here live. We got NFL conversation with teams and quarterbacks, who's moving where, what people are getting paid, and a lot going on. We're going to expand our studio. We're going to be on all social media platforms talking live. I was talking to Howard just now. He runs all the production in the back to get us set up to go everywhere and get our PR firm going so we can enjoy a lot of people coming here live as we move forward with our program. And let's get right into it. We're going to dive into it because the Buffalo Bills, I just got done talking about this the other day. Like, what are they going to do? Is it a must-win season? And I said it. They're going to do something. And right away, right now, it's happening. Jordan Poyer has been released. He played great for the Buffalo Bills. People thought the Bills were going to do fantastic. And yes, they played well. They were a couple snaps away from getting to the Super Bowl. Just got beat by the Chiefs and just missed the opportunity to go against the 49ers in the Super Bowl. But here's the thing. They just cut Jordan Poyer to free up some cap space. And I was just saying this is going to restructure contracts. We're talking to Josh Allen, how to restructure that. How can we change this up? How can we get more players in here? Who can we get rid of? Who do we need to give more money to? Right, guys like Von Miller. And it's like they're making things happen, but they're also letting guys go. And this is just a quick synopsis of what I was saying, where look, you have a massive contract. You're getting $40 million, $50 million, $60 million until you're not, because they're cutting you and your contract is heavily backloaded where, hey, your $50 million will get you started. The couple years you're making $2 million, $4 million, $5 million. And all of a sudden, come year 4 and year 5, you're getting $10 to $15 million a year if you get there, right? If you get there, all those incentives and all that crazy stuff, they have tackling bonuses, right? For guys on the defense, interception bonuses, fumble recovery bonuses, playoff bonuses, Super Bowl bonuses if you make an appearance there. And they cut them, they released them, they freed up a lot of cap space, and now the Buffalo Bills are like, hey, we're moving on. We're going to do some different things this year. We're going to restructure Josh Allen's contract. And listen, said this also, he's 27. He's going to be there until year, I believe, 2027, which is pretty ironic. But it's like, hey, window's getting smaller. You got a few years left before it's like, where's Josh Allen going to go? Is he going to get extended? Are they going to bring in more players? You see now, they're cutting Jordan Poyer. They're looking around. There's a few other players that were just released. They're freeing up cap space. They're making moves. The Buffalo Bills are ready to go to the next chapter, the next journey into the postseason next year. They're looking at it. They got to get further than where they did, so people are making arrangements, and it has to happen. It just goes to show you how close you are to Super Bowl, like one game away, and you're like, oh, what do we got to do to make some changes? You don't got to change much. You're one game from the Super Bowl. It's like run it back again and just play a little bit better in that, championship game, the AFC championship game. There's not a lot to change there. They played great. The fans are great. I mentioned that they're shoveling the stadium days before the championship game. And it's like, look, they have what they need to win. Now they're releasing players because they have cap space. They got things they got to look into. But check this out. This is an interesting thing that most people don't even know. The Cowboys passed on Travis Kelce due to a marijuana suspension, right? So Travis Kelce was in college doing his thing. He gets to the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs are all over and bring him in. He becomes a superstar. But people don't really know this. The Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones could have had Cowboys and could have had Travis Kelce. And look, they were in a meeting and he brought it up. And Travis Kelce said, look, he goes, if you don't really like me that much, then don't bring me in. I mean, he made it very clear for him, which was pretty interesting. He got him here blowing smoke saying, look, I'm not going to put it on here on, YouTube and say, hey, it's okay to smoke or not okay to smoke. We're not going to go down that road because that's what gets us in trouble on here. But at the end of the day, we won't call it marijuana. We'll call it the green leaves for right now, just for the sake of the conversation on here. He's like, look, in college, I got suspended for that, and they got the smoke here blowing. Obviously, it was cold, but they're trying to, give a little synopsis like, hey, when you're smoking, yada, yada, yada. But in college, he was suspended due to smoking the green leaves, right? So then the Cowboys said, we're not really sure if we want to bring you in because we're worried about, your personality. We're worried about, what you're going to do. Are you humble? Are you a good player? Are you going to do the right things? Are you going to be someone that's walking in the locker room that people can look up to? And that's why the Cowboys were like, I'm not too sure. And Travis Kelce got right to the punch. He goes, you know what? If you don't want me on your team, don't bring me in. And people were like, whoa, the Dallas Cowboys could have easily grabbed Travis Kelce, and he could have easily been playing for the Dallas Cowboys with people like Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. I mean, that would have been a crazy, situation. And I bet you this, If he wasn't playing for the Chiefs wouldn't be in the position they are right now. And the Cowboys might have a different outlook on things. But look, all I'm saying is it just goes to show you how something you're doing in college, and people that are watching this right now and all the college players that are going to be coming on the show, there's some high school guys that are pretty, high 5-star talents going to big time schools. It's like what you're doing in the locker room in high school, in college, and then on and off the field is important, right? I talk about this, your teachers, your coaches, and people don't realize and understand that, especially when you're an exceptional talent. Like Travis Kelce was an exceptional talent in college, went to Cincinnati, goes, I can go wherever I want. The Dallas Cowboys look at him and go, yeah, but you were suspended for smoking marijuana, so we're not really sure if you're going to be a good fit for our program. This is a meeting during, they have the NFL Combine, they have their drills they got to do, and then they have their meetings, and they sit down and they talk, and it was like, look, we're just not sure if you're going to be a good fit for our program or a good fit for our organization. So the Cowboys said, I'm not sure, and he right away goes, and he said it in a live interview, actually was talking to Pat McAfee also, I believe, and he goes, look, don't bring me in then. You don't want me, don't bring me in. Well, goes to show you, he actually played pretty well, brought a lot of spotlight, brought in, obviously, Taylor Swift. They brought a lot of spotlight to the Chiefs. They're winning Super Bowls, and it was just goes to show how close you can be to getting a player, or on the flip side, how close it can be for you getting passed on, right? A player that maybe didn't have that, type of caliber, athleticism, didn't get to that level. But now it's like, man, you can get passed on if you don't do the right things. Obviously, he did. He got the NFL, played great, but the Cowboys passed on Travis Kelce. Some people don't know that, but he did, and it could have been that close to playing for the Dallas Cowboys. But we're going to move on to Mike Evans. He gets $52 million extension with the Bucs. Now, this is something that people were talking about. Where is Mike Evans going to go? The guy is massive on the field, tall, can jump, grab the football over defenders all day, every day, gets $52 million, some incentive bonuses and things. And it's like, okay, we understand that. The big question comes down to this, okay? What are they going to do with Baker Mayfield? Now, here's what's interesting to me. Baker Mayfield, obviously out of college, played well, came to the NFL, and people are like, it's kind of a dud, right? Gets one place, plays okay, then he's gone. He played for several teams at this point, the Panthers, the Browns, now he's with the Bucs. He's just been moving around the NFL a lot, and people are like, I don't know. And now people are like, look, we got to give him $40 to $50 million a year. Now, here's what I'm saying. I like Baker Mayfield. He tries hard. He balls out. He's on the field. He wants to do it. See him all these commercials and all that. That kind of got in his way, I think. But a guy like Baker Mayfield, I like him. I'm just saying $40, $50 million a year. He's not an injury-prone guy like Tua, so he'll be on the field. I don't see any concerns there. But do you move forward and pay this guy all this money? Or do you say, hey, you know what? You played great last year, had his best season in the NFL in the history of his career last season. But again, he also was playing with a great receiver in Mike Evans. So Mike Evans is back. The Bucs made this happen. They came to an agreement. Now that he's back on roster, I happen to think that Baker Mayfield is excited, and I think Mike Evans is probably the one that can go to bat for him. Like, look, we balled out last year. We got a lot further than people think. I would love to have my quarterback back on the field. If he likes Baker Mayfield and they have a good relationship, Baker Mayfield's going to get paid a lot of money from the Bucs. I mean, a lot of money. Maybe there's going to be incentive things like we were just talking about. Maybe he shows up and they go, look, we'll give you that massive contract that you think you're going to get, maybe $80 million, $90 million, maybe a 3-year deal, 4-year deal. And what will happen is they'll heavily load it to the back, right? He might get 20, 30 million guaranteed, but I'm just saying, this is big time money. This guy didn't go last in the draft. He was the top of the draft when he came in. So people were like, well, maybe he's finally growing into his athletic nature. Maybe he's growing into the person he's going to be. He's not old by any stretch. He has an opportunity. I'm just saying $40 to $50 million a year for Baker Mayfield is one of those things that people are like, whoa, what is going on in the National Football League right now? And people cannot find quarterbacks enough. They keep on shifting them around, moving them around, which leads us to our next, conversation. I think people need to understand, are the Pittsburgh Steelers in trouble this season? And when I say that, the reason why I say that, I played at Pitt. I loved it. Cold as ever. Not going to deny that. It's freezing cold, especially in the, heading into the playoffs, as you get through, obviously, December and January, it's freezing. Even in February, it's cold. And people are like, man, it's freezing up here. Getting adjusted to the weather from the South, yeah, but are they in trouble this year with their current roster? Are they in trouble with their current quarterback position? And that's what I want to talk about. Is Kenny Pickett going to be the guy, right? And people are like, well, Tomlin wants to bring somebody in. We've been saying this. Russell Wilson's interested in going there. They want to bring him in. Then you got Justin Fields is out there floating around. You're going to bring him in. If you haven't made the decision yet, right? If the Steelers haven't called out and said, look, here's what we want to do. We want to offer X, Y, Z. They're probably not that interested at this point, right? Like, are you going to ride with Kenny Pickett? Is this going to be your guy? And the question is, are the Pittsburgh Steelers in trouble this season? And I got to tell you, I like Kenny Pickett. I just don't know if he's the guy for the long-term career. Is he the guy they want for 5 more years? Are they going to extend his contract? And I think if you don't think that's a possibility and you're not sure about Kenny Pickett at this point, I think it's starting, you got to start looking for your next quarterback. Even though it's so soon, it's one of those things they were talking about, oh, his hand size is too small. Then they said, oh, he's just, maybe he's just not the guy for the job. And then he's injured. Then they bring in another guy. And it's like, look, you got to come somewhere. You got to sit down. You got to make some final decisions. You got to say, who are we going to ride with? If you bring a quarterback in like a Justin Fields, or you bring another quarterback in like a Russell Wilson, that's your guy, right? That's your new guy. And Kenny Pickett's going to take a back seat. Maybe be a backup quarterback, which really isn't a bad situation. If I'm Kenny Pickett and I'm the backup quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, yeah, you got to be humble. It's an ego smash, right? You get slapped a little bit around. I'm going to second on the depth chart. You're getting paid a lot of money to be second on the depth chart. You might not even get in the game, so it's really not a bad position. Now, obviously, you want to throw touchdown passes. You want to win games. You want to be in the playoffs. You want to get to the Super Bowl. I get it. It's a great feeling, and I know Kenny Pickett wants that, but I'm just saying, my honest opinion, if Kenny Pickett is the future of your team, if he's the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think the Steelers are in trouble. I like the Steelers. I like what they bring to the table. They wave the table towels. I think it's a great fan base. I think they have a lot of other things lined up and a lot of other positions at the quarterback position. If they don't get this under control and they're not really sure if Kenny Pickett's their guy and they don't get somebody else in there, I'm saying the Steelers are in trouble at this point, especially in the offseason, not sure who's coming in. Let's move on to Trevor Lawrence, right? This is a conversation that, I talked about Trevor Lawrence for a while. I talked about him last season when he was coming in, played great, right, for Clemson. And now, obviously, with the Jaguars, they're bringing people in that they can have play at, someone that he can rally behind, other players that were on his team that played in college. And it was like, look, Trevor Lawrence could be one of the guys, the future of the NFL. Will it be with the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? Will it be there? Because obviously we saw him in college, was amazing at Clemson, winning titles. The guy basically went undefeated all his whole career. Maybe lost one game or was undefeated the entire career at Clemson. Got to look it up to remember. But at the end of the day, the guy was unstoppable. Didn't matter who they brought in. Running backs came in. Different guys were coming in and out. Also play with them again in the NFL. And then you have other talents around him, some receivers, some weapons, but they were unstoppable, right? Debo Sweeney, they had great coaching, great players. He gets to the NFL, right? When you go top pick, you go to a shitty team, which is what happened. You go to the Jaguars, and they're building, and they played better, and they're okay. Just not enough to get where they got to get. And this year was another kind of season where the Jaguars, like, we're on the up and up. We're on the up and up. We're heading up. We got a lot of good things going, and they did. Injury to Trevor Lawrence, comes back a little too early, and they don't make, they don't get where they got to get to. In the playoffs, they don't get further. They don't win games. And it's like, okay, who are we going to bring in now? And now I think they're going to release, Calvin Ridley. Like, he's a receiver they brought in who could be great. Came in from the Atlanta Falcons. Knows him well. And it was like, this is going to be a good opportunity. That didn't work out. So the big question right now comes down to, is Trevor Lawrence going to be someone who flourishes in the NFL? And will he be someone who will flourish in the NFL for the Jaguars? Because I got to tell you, if you pick up Trevor Lawrence and you put him on several other teams, like the Minnesota Vikings, a team like the Vikings, you move around, team like Pittsburgh, these are some opportunities where Trevor Lawrence can ball out. I'm just saying, he's got all the capabilities. He's got the talent. He's got the height. The guy's super tall. He's built properly. The guy can throw the football. He can run the football. He's got a lot going on. And so I'm just saying, can the Jacksonville Jaguars put Trevor Lawrence in the position to win, to be successful? Can the coaching staff, they've been changing coaches here and there, can they come together and build what they need on that roster behind Trevor Lawrence to get to the playoffs, to get to the Super Bowl. And I just don't know if that's going to happen there. But I have no doubt about Trevor Lawrence. And the question is, did he fall off? I mean, kind of fell off a little bit for the Jaguars, but I don't think he fell off as a quarterback. And I think if he gets closer to the end of his contract, of course, they're going to want to extend him. They like Trevor Lawrence. I'm not going down that road. I'm just saying, if he were to leave the Jaguars and you put him on several other teams, I'm just saying Trevor Lawrence is going further, and a lot of other players, and I would agree with that. And I also have some people coming on the show, which we'll get to in a second. But the quote of the day today, for all of you to move forward in your day, we'll go through a little faster, and this is something I wrote for you. Today we start the journey we live, right? And what I mean by that is today we start. We're not starting tomorrow. We're not starting yesterday. If you're here now for the first time, today we start the journey we live, because even though you start today, you still got to live on that journey. You still got to get on that path. Every day is a new day. Obstacles are coming. Hurdles are coming. So today we start the best foot forward and move forward today on Thursday. The next day, as we keep moving, we just continue that journey we live. We work hard. We stay focused. And I want you guys to know that I appreciate all of you coming on this platform. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. We have guests coming on. We're going to be backstage at an MMA fight, bare knuckle fight. We got the camera crew coming in. We got fighters that will come on right after the show live, which is going to be great. But I'm looking forward to all of you being on there, and I appreciate people that are bouncing in here for the first time or the second time if you're here every single day. Some people pop in and out as I see guys, girls coming in and out. They don't comment in the chat. They just come in, bounce out. I appreciate everybody as we expand our studio and our production. And I want to know what you guys think, especially with NFL players, NBA players, MMA fighters. They're coming on the show, give lots of conversation and detail. So I have someone to come on here and powwow with, right? Coming on and talking for a half hour to an hour every day isn't easy, but someone on here on stage with me joking and laughing and bullshitting and going over a bunch of stuff is a lot more fun. So I just want to say I appreciate all of you. And as they come on and we get this whole PR thing rolling, we're expecting a lot of people live on the show. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Listen, bright and early, 10 o'clock, Friday. We're heading into the weekend. It's going to be great. We got a lot to talk about. And listen, it's always great to come on Fridays. I usually do a dress down Friday, but I realized this morning, I said, look, I'm going to throw this shirt on to come on. I got a dress shirt sitting here. I thought this would just be better, more comfortable, so I'm enjoying it. I will see you guys tomorrow, bright and early, 10 o'clock on Friday. Is going to be great, and we might have someone on the show that you can talk to and see. So I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, 10 a.m. Until next time.